evening. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to welcome you tonight to our annual Riverwalk Tribute honoring Mike Jackson from AutoNation. We couldn't have a better recipient. Here's a gentleman who is a mentor to his staff, a leader in industry, and a great community partner, and for that we thank you. Tonight I'd like to start with first thanking my staff. Putting on an event like this is always a challenge. They rise to the occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, kudos, you did a great job. I'd also like to thank our volunteers who always step up and give us their time. Riverwalk is a jewel in the center of Fort Lauderdale. We're so happy to be able to show it off, to tell you all the things that are available to you in the downtown and in the city. And these volunteers step up often and give us a hand. One of the things that we'd like to do tonight, we have a couple of little things we'd like to share with you. The first one is a video. And if I might ask if you would cue video, please.
This may be the place you spent your whole life or have just arrived. You may have visited here and decided never to leave. Whether you're a native or a newcomer or somewhere in between, you realize that Fort Lauderdale is just right. It is a city on the rise and a desired destination. A walkable, livable community with a number of retail and restaurant districts. A robust business and judicial district in the county seat. Many cultural opportunities, as well as passive and active public space. Fort Lauderdale connects in many ways to its beautiful beaches, commercial areas, all making this a perfect place to be. Fort Lauderdale has everything you want at your fingertips. A vibrant lifestyle, an engaged local community, seamless connections to the rest of the world by air and sea, new mobility options connect our region and local destinations, setting the stage for future transit investments. A place for commerce, fun, and living. Major events, including Winterfest, Tortuga, the Air Show, and the world's largest annual boat show, to name a few. There are many ongoing activities nurturing Riverwalk as a vibrant community connected by the new river. The Color Run, Stone Crab and Seafood Festival, Day of the Dead, and Burger Battle, just to name a few. Downtown Fort Lauderdale is growing in a big way. More than 1,000 hotel rooms under construction, new Class A office buildings on the horizon, and thousands of new residential units under construction, with thousands more in the works. This is a city built by visionaries, with iconic public spaces, dynamic cultural and civic institutions, and neighborhoods that create community. Fort Lauderdale is a city for all and a city on the move. Our vision looks to the future. Our perspective is regional. Our foundation is strong and pushes our community forward. We enjoy a relaxed vibe and at the same time celebrate in a city full of life and excitement. We are building the city you never want to leave. This is Fort Lauderdale.
Thank you. First and foremost, John Floyd, Media Lab, thank you so much for doing such an awesome job. Jenny Morihan, I know you're out there. From the DDA, thank you for partnering with us for doing this. We want to tell the world Fort Lauderdale is a city. We offer many, many things to you. It's the place you want to come and the place you might want to stay. You want to bring your business. You want to dine. You want to have art. You want to have culture. Where can you go that you can get to an airport, a seaport, Bright Line, ground transportation, the FEX airport, within a 2-mile radius? We're someplace you want to be. Fort Lauderdale, correct. That's the place. Tonight was the launch of our video. We will be sharing this with the City of Fort Lauderdale and with the CVB. We hope to see it be viral. Any of you that would like to share it, we'd be delighted to share it with you. It's my pleasure now to invite our board chair, Jim Ellis, to the podium. Jim?
Thank you, Gina, and thank you, everybody, for coming. I'd first like to have a show of hands of all of Riverwalk board members out there. And thank you all for your support. And for those of you who don't know about Riverwalk, please seek them out and ask. I'd first like to start off, Mr. Jackson, you are a pillar of our community, and I know of no other community-minded person than you. You've done amazing things for our city in many, many different avenues, and thank you very much, and thank you for being here tonight. To our mayor and our commissioners, city managers, our city departments, from traffic to police to fire, infrastructure, everything, your support and all of your help has been what we needed to do what we're doing and to sustain ourselves and continue to go on the path that we're going. And so thank you all. You've done amazing things for your 9 years, and I can't thank you enough. It's just been awesome. So lastly, I only have 1 minute. When you leave here tonight, there's 2 pamphlets out there, 2 little flyers. One of them will tell you about Riverwalk, what our goals are. They're easy. We're to continue with our activation, continue with more events. Our last event, we drew 14,000 people down, and so we're hitting the point of where we're really tying the events together and doing more of them and more successful. And then the second is sustainability. And you'll see that in the flyer. It gives you, pretty good details of what our goals are and everything. So grab that. And then lastly, there's also a flyer on what we're launching tonight that, do you want to go through? Not yet. Okay, so I'm going to shut up. There are 2 flyers out there. Grab them. They're important. Thank you all, and thank you all for coming.
And he did stay within his minute. Thank you, Jim. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce you to our mayor, John P. Jack Seiler. Jack has been a champion of Riverwalk, downtown, and the city of Fort Lauderdale. We couldn't have asked for a better cheerleader. So it's my pleasure to welcome you.
Well, good evening. Can you hear okay in back? All right, I see that. Let me take a second first before I do the introduction of Mike Jackson and just recognize a few people that are in the room. And I'd be remiss if I didn't start with the young lady that just had me step up here. Look at where our Riverwalk is. Look where we were 9 years ago. Look where we were 20 years ago. And look where we are today. It is now probably one of the most dynamic parts of the city of Fort Lauderdale. It is as fully connected, fully vibrant, fully active part of our city that has just exploded in terms of bringing people downtown. Doesn't matter if you come down to see Los Olas, now that we've connected it to Los Olas, as you see here, or whether we're connected on the west side and we're crossing the river, the Riverwalk has become just an absolute lifeblood of our community. And the coolest thing is it's wrapped around a natural treasure here in the city, our new river. So I got to recognize the woman that we asked years ago to take a leadership role and to make this happen. And boy, did she deliver. And Gina, thank you so much. And secondly, you know, we've had, as Jim mentioned, we've had a great 9 years, and we've seen some great activity in the city and some great things happen. But it's a team. It's a team effort, and it's a team that has worked together and has tried to move the city together. And obviously, the partners in that team are, most of you are in the private sector. You all that have joined with us, whether it's from the business community or from the Alliance or from the hospitality industry or tourism industry or marine industry, you've joined us on that trip, joined us on that journey as we've taken the city, I think, to a better place. But I want to recognize those elected officials that have been on that ride with us, and I'm going to have them join me up here just so they can help make this presentation to Mr. Jackson. I'll start with our Vice Mayor, Bruce Roberts. I saw Bruce. Bruce, come on up. And next I'll have our City Commissioner, Romney Rogers. Come on up, Romney. I saw City Commissioner Dean Trantalis also here. Dean, come on up. And then, of course, our city manager has done such a great job. He's not just recognized here locally for the work he does, but he's actually recognized internationally with the ICMA, Lee Feldman. Lee, join us up here, please. And you know what, I will say this. We have had a partner at the county that has worked so closely with this city commission on so many issues. And he's a gentleman that I call a friend. He's a gentleman that I can call on any issue that comes up at the county, and we let him know where we are on the issue. And 9 times out of 10, Chip tells us, you know, I'm with you. I'm with the cities. So I want to have Chip LaMarca join us up here. Chip. But, you know, before I read this proclamation, how do you introduce somebody that when you mention his name, somebody immediately says, well, he's a giant in the automotive industry. Then you mention his name and they say, well, you know, he's a giant in the financial industry. Then you mention his name and they say, you know what, he's a giant in the business community. And then we get talking about it tonight, and I'm literally asking Gina, how did this take 18 years? I mean, how was he not the first person?
The same thing, finally got to the gate.
But you think about that. I mean, it doesn't matter who you talk to. Everybody knows Mike Jackson. And not only that, what's so fortunate for the city of Fort Lauderdale and for our Riverwalk is everybody knows Mike Jackson's all about Fort Lauderdale. Doesn't matter if he's on TV on Wall Street. Doesn't matter if he's handling something in a charity or handling something philanthropically. Everybody associates Mike Jackson and AutoNation with Fort Lauderdale. And that is so important that we have this great community leader, this great business leader who understands that his roots are here and his company's roots are here and has completely, I think, just wrapped himself in Fort Lauderdale, and Fort Lauderdale's we've wrapped him in the city because he is so valuable and so integral to what we're doing. And I mentioned banking, and I mentioned finance, and I mentioned the automotive industry. Take a step back. And you want to talk about the most giant thing about Mike? It's his heart. All of a sudden, we look at what's happening with the cancer fight, and there's AutoNation going pink. And you look at what's happening with cultural and entertainment, and there's AutoNation bringing in one of the finest curators to run our museum here in Fort Lauderdale and take our museum to the next level. And then you talk about the Riverwalk or something else, and it doesn't matter. He's a giant in all categories because he gives back. Ask an employee at AutoNation about him. Call over there. Tell him it's anonymous. You don't have to even be on the record. Top to bottom, the love and the respect and the admiration that they have for him because he is a leader that doesn't just say do this or do that, he does it himself, and he leads in a remarkable way. And so when we got the opportunity to do this, we put together a proclamation, and I hate to say this, I'm actually using Gina's reading glasses. You can tell when it's a good proclamation because it is so small to fit it on the page, because he's done so much for so long. But I am going to use these, and I might have to. Boy. Yeah. If this is your last visual of me as mayor, God bless you. Thanks for the glasses. So I'm going to present this proclamation before we bring them up. Let me read this. Whereas Riverwalk Fort Lauderdale annually honors individuals who have demonstrated outstanding leadership, direction, and community involvement in the downtown and in the city. And whereas Riverwalk Fort Lauderdale is pleased to announce that Mr. Mike Jackson, President and Chief Executive Officer of AutoNation, Inc., has been selected as the 2018 Riverwalk Tribute honoree. Whereas Mr. Jackson was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and is a graduate of St. Joseph University. On October 11, 1999, Mr. Jackson was appointed the CEO of AutoNation, America's largest retailer of both new and used vehicles. On December 31st, 2002, he was appointed Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of that Fort Lauderdale company. AutoNation, headquartered here, is a member of the S&P 500, is a Fortune 500 specialty retailer with approximately $15 billion in annual revenue, 210 stores in 15 states, and over 17,000 employees. Mr. Jackson has been named to the Automotive Hall of Fame Industry Leader of the Year. He was the first recipient of the Sports Illustrated All-Star Dealer Award. In 2006, he won the Excalibur Award, given annually to the South Florida Business Leader of the Year. In that same year, South Florida CEO Magazine named him CEO of the Year. In 2010, Mr. Jackson was named and honored as Downtowner of the Year by the Downtown Council of the Greater Fort Lauderdale Chamber, and recently was named to the Federal Reserve Board, as he's now serving as chair. Mr. Jackson is a member of the Broward Workshop. He also served as chair of the Board of Directors of the Jack and Jill Children's Center and as chair of the Board of Directors of the Museum of Art. Whereas Mr. Jackson also steered the partnership between our Museum of Art and Nova Southeastern University, enhancing and strengthening each party for the betterment of our community. And whereas he actively encourages AutoNation employees to perform their civic duty by serving on boards and committees, he is an ardent supporter of student mentoring and encourages and promotes the idea of mentorship to all of his corporate associates. And whereas Mr. Jackson and AutoNation are key players and participants in growing and activating Riverwalk and downtown, as well as the whole city of Fort Lauderdale, and continue to be generous and active community partners. Now, therefore, we, as the City Commissioners of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, do hereby proclaim Thursday, March 8th, 2018, as Mike Jackson Day in the City of Fort Lauderdale, and do congratulate Mike on the receipt of this most prestigious award, and do thank him for giving back to the community. So, Mike, on behalf of this City Commission, on behalf of all the people in this room, the neighbors, the residents, the visitors to Fort Lauderdale, and on behalf of a very grateful and appreciative city, congratulations, and come on up. Want my readers? Okay, step over here. We'll give this prop to you.
Mr. Mayor, government officials, thank you everyone for being here tonight. We all have busy lives, and I'm deeply touched that you're joining this evening. So let me bookend my day for you. I had an event down in Miami last night, so Alice and I didn't get home till late. So I was a little late getting to work, so I wasn't paying attention. I'm coming from the beach. I'm going over to Las Olas Bridge, and just as I crest the bridge, there's a policeman who gets me on the radar gun and pulls me over and is writing me a ticket. So I'm sitting there side of the road. Now, I can afford the ticket and the points. It's not so bad, but I'm really late for something. And I'm thinking, should I tell this lovely policeman that I am the citizen of the day, and does that get me a hall pass on this ticket? So I could have really used this proclamation a little bit earlier in the day, I tell you. And if I can hand this ticket to somebody on the way out this evening, that would be of value to me. So that's my day. So I want to start by thanking the founder of our company, Wayne. AutoNation would not be headquartered in Fort Lauderdale without Wayne. Fort Lauderdale would not be what it is without Wayne. And I wouldn't be here without Wayne. I was off doing something with Mercedes-Benz. I was at the Frankfurt Motor Show. And with a 6-hour time difference, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and the phone rings, and it's Wayne. Hey, Wayne, you know, there's a 6-hour time difference. He says, Mike, I've made up my mind. I want you to be the next CEO of AutoNation. I said, well, Wayne, that's all well and good, but, you know, I'm pretty happy where he is. He says, well, I've made you an offer that you can't refuse. I said, well, how would I know that? He says, it's on the fax machine downstairs. So this is 20 years ago, back in the day of faxes. So I said, okay, Wayne, I'll check it. So I pull on my jeans, I go downstairs, I look at the fax, I go, oh, this is an offer I can't refuse. I go back upstairs. And so, hey, Wayne, I'm on a flight. I'm not making this. I said, Wayne, I'm on a flight to New York tomorrow. This is Wayne. He says, I'll meet you when you land. We'll go in a room, and we're going to make this deal. And that's how it happened, and that's how I'm here. So that's our founder. And we became great friends. And so when I'm first here, he hosts a cocktail party for me to meet the community. And Terry Stiles walks up to me, and he says, Mike, you need a new headquarters. And I'm the man to do it for you. I said, you know, Terry, I'm here a week. I got a few issues I got to deal with. He says, so Terry was on the case, and you got to give. He became a great friend, and you got to give the man a credit. He was a go-getter, and sure enough, he put us at a new headquarters, and then he put us in another new headquarters where we are now, and he introduced me to my wife, Alice. So, I mean, talk about a full-service landlord. I mean, I didn't even need to put it in the lease. And when Alice and I and she's born and raised in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, I've seen it, yeah. And Wayne was my best man when we got married. So, you know, it's. So I was doing an interview with someone earlier, and they asked me, you know, what is it that you like so much about Fort Lauderdale? And, you know, there's all the obvious things, but I didn't go there. I said, really, you know, I love the people. I love the people of Fort Lauderdale. I love the sense of community in Fort Lauderdale. I've lived in a lot of places. I've worked a lot of places in the world. And the sense of community and the wonderful people here are really exceptional and the reason that I'm here. And we announced today that, you know, we signed a new lease with Stiles Corporation for 12 years. So when Terry put us in this building over here where we are, he made all these promises about how that area was going to change for the better because it was a little edgy, so I'm being polite. So a decade goes by, and less than a decade goes by, and he's getting all excited about the renewal. And I said, hey, Terry, I mean, something's got to happen here, or this isn't going to work out. So we entered into a lengthy negotiation, and you know, Terry, when he was on a deal, I mean, there was no stopping the man. I mean, he was just there. And I have to say there was three deciding factors. One, Terry, and Doug Egan was there every step of the way. It's a firm where you can take their word for it and count on what they tell you, and a handshake means something. And I have to say, Riverwalk was a deciding factor for us to say, because if we left that building, then everything's in play. Then you have to look at everything. And we could really sense that Riverwalk was going to transform the whole area to another whole exciting dynamic that our all our associates would really enjoy. So that was a deciding factor in us staying. And the close of the deal was the following. So Jim Ellis calls me very nicely and says, would I accept this award? And without thinking, I said yes. Then I hung up the phone, and I'm sitting there, and I realized I haven't signed the lease yet. We don't have a deal. We may be leaving. So I called Doug. I said, hey, Doug, okay. If I'm going to take this award, we better have the lease done by then. So here I am. We're staying. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
You have to give me back my glasses.
They look better on you.
My wife, we're getting along great. And the only thing about Alice gets on my nerves is everybody likes Alice. Everybody doesn't like Alice. They don't even need to talk to me anymore. Everybody wants to talk to Alice.
Mr. Jackson, we have a couple of things for you, if we may.
You can fix my speeding ticket.
That would be these guys, not us. Thank you very much. Can you come up? Come up.
Hold on. That'll be my last pardon when I leave office.
First and foremost, we have a special section on the Riverwalk for our tribute honorees. You've been commemorated in stone there.
This sounds ominous.
Very, very. This is a replica for you to keep, knowing that we honor you and we value you and we thank you. Secondly, in addition to that, there is a granite piece placed on Riverwalk in your name, honoring you as well. And we hope you'll stroll down soon
I
and
will.
check it out.
If you tell me where it is, I'll go look at it.
We'll give you a map.
It's right behind the AutoNation auditorium at Heisinger Plaza.
Very good.
Very close by.
Thank you.
And we thank you so
Thank you,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Very on.
Lastly, Riverwalk has a new announcement for you. In the other room, you will have seen a rendering of a 9/11 piece that we will be installing on the Riverwalk. We're very excited about this. There were very few pieces left. We applied for it, and the city of Fort Lauderdale was selected for it. First, is Chief Herschel still here? Chief Robert Herschel. Chief, thank you very much. Went to New York for us with some buddies, we'll say, and picked up that piece and brought it back to Fort Lauderdale, and it's being housed at the fire station now. Thank you, City Manager, for helping us make that happen. We are commencing our capital campaign as of today. As you leave, you will see brochures that will tell you about it. We hope you will join with us. We think it's a great addition to our city. We have so many lovely pieces of art in public places. This monument will make a difference. It again tells you of our connection to not just our city and our county and our state, but to our nation. And for that, we thank you. And as my staff will clearly tell you, the silent auction is open until 7:40. Please shop often and shop large. And we thank you very much.
So before you depart, and I just want to point one thing out, and then I'm going to tell Genius something. So Mike is as lucky as my wife is, because they both married Northeast High School Hurricanes. And the mayor's probably making rabbit ears behind me for that. But anyway, it's okay. I was able to wrangle a little bit of money away from the bond dollars that were laying in a closet somewhere at the county, $7,500.
Awesome.
I'm going to go see if we can get a little bit more in the cultural grant dollars and that type of thing. But we're going to put that towards the memorial and see if we can get there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice, Chip.
So there you go. We have our first donor. And for that, we thank you. And please enjoy, eat, drink, and shop.
Alice up here for one picture.
Alice, could you join us on stage, please? We need the Floridians up here. I keep trying to get off.